As a white guy, I feel like I'm the only person qualified to talk about this, so I will. Here's a hot take that I know is going to piss off a lot of people, but I explicitly believe. If you personally identify as white, that's goofy. And let me explain myself because I know this is a loaded topic. On one hand, the census comes around. If we're talking about how society perceives me, how I am, whatnot, I understand that I am Caucasian. I am white like your average Irish butt cheeks. However, here's the thing. If somebody comes up to me, just an individual, and says, describe yourself, how would you personally describe myself? Well, I describe myself as Russian. I describe myself as American. I describe myself as Belarusian and German. All of these are things that I personally identify as that are part of my culture and my heritage. But what's being white? You know, these countries, these heritages, these are a thing. What is being white besides simply not being black? Like, as far as I can understand, and you know, I'm not the best person to talk about this, so if someone who has a better perspective says differently, listen to them. But the reason there is a black culture, specifically here in America, is hundreds of years ago, well, the culture and heritage got stripped from the majority of black people that arrived in the country. They no longer had their family roots, their heritage, nothing. So collectively, they formed black culture because that was what they had at the time. And from that, it's grown into the black culture as it is today. But there is no white culture. You know, like, if you asked an Asian person, how do you identify yourself? They're gonna tell you, oh, I'm Chinese, I'm Japanese, I'm Laotian, I'm Cambodian. They're not gonna say, oh, I'm Asian. If you ask a Hispanic person, same thing. They're not gonna just go, oh, I'm Hispanic. They're gonna tell you, oh, I'm Cuban, I'm, from Guatemala, I'm from Puerto Rico, something like that. Same for basically every one of these categories except for being white. All being white is not being black. And whatever is white changes on whatever is politically prudent at the time. I mean, think about this. I'm mostly Russian and German ethnically. 100-some years ago, I wouldn't have been considered white. Germans and Slavs were considered swarthy. This wouldn't have been considered white. So that's why I find the whole concept of whiteness ridiculous. Like, whenever you hear people talking about, oh, white culture's under attack, white culture's under attack, well, what are they talking about? Because, my American culture is not under attack. My Russian culture is not under any more attack than it's ever been from, the media and whatnot. So if people are worried specifically about white culture, I don't know, that's a big red flag to me. And if you personally identify as white instead of identifying as American or whatever your heritage is, that's goofy and you're goofy.